Hello, my dear friends, and welcome. We have a lot to share with you today. A piece of our home you haven't seen before, a new shingle project, preserving melanzane sott'olio, moving our ram and breeding sheep back home, and spending some time in the herb garden. Perhaps most importantly, we're focusing on calming down. Make sure you listen for the Italian phrase, let me know in the comments what I'm saying, and be entered to win a copy of our cookbook in this week's giveaway. And as always, please like and subscribe while you're here, won't you? It's free and easy for you and helps us tremendously. Also, the recipe is going to be in the show notes via our free newsletter. Now let's jump in. Today's video is sponsored by Trade Coffee, a specialty coffee marketplace that matches coffee drinkers with the best coffees from roasters around the country. Trade is the easiest way to experience amazing specialty coffee at home, and now it's the highlight of my day. You simply pick what style you like, whether it's a specific roast level, cold brew, espresso, you name it, and Trade will have top roasters from around the country deliver fresh coffee, whole bean or ground, right to your door. It's that simple. And when you subscribe to Trade, you're supporting American businesses because they partner with 50 plus small roasters around the country. Your coffee is roasted to order and shipped within 48 hours. I love when I get mine because it's so fresh. The Cafe Vita that I use for our espresso is one of my very favorites. You can give Trade a try to transform the way you experience coffee at home. They're offering your first bag free. When you visit our link below and subscribe, Trade guarantees that you'll love your first bag or they'll replace it for free. Visit the link below for your first bag free when you subscribe. So we still have a lot of landscaping that needs to be done. We've got some of the pond plants established now, which you can see. And these are our little goldfish that we got from Petco for 10 cents each. They were teeny tiny, like the little kind you feed to turtles. We put them in here a few years ago, and they just live. We never feed them. We don't heat it during the winter. And actually, can you see these little ones right here? They had babies this year. And so there's tons and tons of little goldfish in the pond now, which is so fun. The lily pads and the cattails have really filled in, but we still have this whole area over here that needs to be landscaped. Isn't that ugly? It bothers me so badly. We had it landscaped at one point, but then a few years ago, we tackled this huge project, huge for us anyway. This is a bathroom, and we'd only ever had one bathroom in our house, a very, very small bathroom, about 40 square feet, and it was time for another. And so all of our resources went into putting this extra bathroom onto the house, but as you can see, we ran out of time and we ran out of money before we finished it. So we've been saving and planning, and finally we got the shingles to finish this side of the house so we don't have to stare at this paper anymore. Thank the Lord. We've already done so much work getting the electrical out here, having outlets. We put this deck in. This was just bare ground. We've got the pergola in. We've even got the clematis in the pots already. But what we don't have is finished siding. And it just arrived. Look at that. I was just explaining to them the situation back here.
Okay.
And you know, when you do a construction project like this is what happens to the ground. It just was completely destroyed.
Yeah, we had to kind of let go of this piece of things while this was under construction, and now we're having to build it back. So
finally, Stu said to me the other day, like, why don't we just basically do what we do and turn it into a low maintenance garden?
Yeah.
Instead of keeping it open for grass, let's put in dogwoods and hazelnuts and small trees and wood chip pathways. And it doesn't need to be a super high maintenance garden. We can plant things accordingly that will fill in and naturalize. But let's just make it a cool little spot. And it was just a light bulb moment for me. Let's do that. Now that we have a vision for it, I can see just being down here. I can see sitting on our porch, having our shingles, which by the way, we're gonna paint to match this cream color of the house. The doors that you can see here are going to be painted blue, just like all of our other doors. We'll trim out the windows, obviously. Hopefully the clematis will continue to grow and grow up the pergola. So there's a lot of good things here, but there's still so much work to finish out. But I can see it now, which gives me a lot of hope. So. This is so exciting.
It is. Yep. Yeah.
Until one of us loses their eye.
Well, be careful. No, it's the start of the whole transformation back here.
Yeah, it's gonna take a bit, but
It doesn't need to look.
we're gonna make it happen.
Oh, wow. I got the eggplant preserved. That felt good.
Awesome.
It was a big little haul.
It is good. It
Oh,
overlaps
there's
a little
Juju.
bit.
We will trim it off, so let's mark it with our pencil where it needs to be trimmed.
Okay, I have our Italian phrase for you. All of August, we're giving away signed copies of our cookbook. So to enter, tell me what I'm saying below in the comments. Okay? This is another tough one for me. So here we go. I miei figli e mio marito stanno lavorando alla nostra casa e sono molto felice. Did you get that? Do you know what I said? You might know what I said.
Say it again.
Okay. I miei figli e mio marito stanno lavorando alla nostra casa e sono molto felice. It's a full season here with lots of moving pieces and lots of tasks to be accountable to. Projects in preservation are just one piece of that. It's easy for the gardener and home cook and me to feel blessed and equally challenged and overwhelmed by the amount of work that needs to be done during this season. Just this week, I pulled these gigantic eggplant or melanzane from our garden, and I know if I didn't deal with them now, they would be wasted. And so I spent an hour calmly down in my kitchen, quietly and happily working on the task at hand. I tried not to let my mind wander too much to the other things stocking up on the sidelines. They'll all have their time. To calm down for me is to be guiltlessly present in a single moment and a single task. Sure, thoughts of this or that sneak in and they try to wreck the peace of it all. I try my best to diffuse those thoughts and re-enter the task at hand. Music, silliness, helping hands, or even just complete silence are all helpers in helping me to just ease up a bit of the tightness and dissolving into the pleasure of the moment. This is a task that I genuinely love each year, and the payoff, melanzane sott'olio, is worth the time and focused effort. So the eggplant, as you can see, are salted and allowed to sit for at least 30 minutes to take out some of their water, and then I rinse them. After that, I grill them with some olive oil until they're slightly charred and tender. After that, I mince up the eggplant and season it with white wine vinegar, fresh mint and oregano, salt and pepper, and garlic. Oh, and chili pepper. After it's seasoned to my liking, I packed pickled eggplant down into jars, trying to squish out as many air bubbles as possible. And I cover the whole thing with a layer of oil to keep the oxygen at bay. Then I just store the jars in my refrigerator and I enjoy them all winter long. It's so delicious on a crusty piece of bread.
It's sheep moving day. So we gotta get the ewes sorted off from the lambs, get the ewes and the ram, get them back home so that he can be there to breed the dairy sheep. And that way the lambs can have the rest of the pasture to grow until butcher. So this is gonna be a bit of a rodeo today.
Oh yeah.
And I apologize in advance for
The craziness.
Another successful sheep moving day.
You can either move sheep or you can film moving sheep. It's very hard to do both.
It is.
But we still love each other, mostly, after that.
Oh, there's a big boy.
Life is more nuanced than just good or bad, and even the hard tasks that we face, the ones that can cause us to get emotionally charged, are often good, or at least good for us. This week, it was essential to do one of my least favorite tasks, which is planning and purchasing this coming school year's homeschool curriculum. It is a cumbersome task that we tackle with our homeschool co-op, one that can easily boil over with overwhelm. If you're a homeschooling family, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so, once again, I had to dissolve those thoughts and remind myself of its importance and value. I remind myself that this is a good choice for our family, and this is a good choice for our children. Reminding myself of what is true is what helps to keep the overwhelm from winning. It's what helps me to calm down.
What you doing there, Juge? Sweeping the dirt? It's amazing how quickly these weeds get out of control.
Oh, they get so big. This time of year is so bad for amaranth.
Mm-hmm.
Our #1 weed, besides morning glory.
Morning glory, white top.
Goat heads. So it's one of our weeds, I guess.
Yeah.
It's amazing too, just spending the weekend away and then you come back and all of a sudden things have grown.
Yes.
So much. They've gotten weeds everywhere. I mean, at this point, the weeds are as big as the plants.
Yep. You know those memes about like zucchini? It's like you go out one morning and it's like that big. You're like, oh, I'll leave it for one more day. And then the next day it's like the size of a bus.
Yes.
You know?
That's what weeds are like.
Yeah.
And I've noticed like the first temptation when that happens, especially this time of year, is to just get totally overwhelmed and stressed out.
Yeah, because not only are the gardens at the place of kind of overwhelm
and harvest
yes, and everything, but then you're also starting school. You're getting back into the routine of sort of the normal cycle of school year,
right?
And the other things. It just seems like August just seems like, all right, time to hit the ground running.
It is. You're preserving, you're preparing for the next season. You're dealing with the gardens, the weeds. You're starting to put up, I can see the hay behind you. We're storing up hay for winter time. Mm-hmm. We're breeding the sheep. There's just a lot of things.
Yeah, and we, through the years, we've recognized that while you want sort of generally times of balance, you want things to be balanced, there are these momentary times of imbalance that are just built into the seasons.
Yes. Temporary imbalance.
Yeah, temporary imbalance, yeah.
Keeping calm looks like saying no to what we like so that we can say yes to what we love. It involves acknowledging reality and the demands of our given season, knowing that we're just two people, we're only capable of giving what we can. And so we do change the story. Instead of saying to ourselves, the garden looks terrible, we say something like, the garden has been so productive. Instead of saying we've been too busy, we say something like, we've been able to prioritize some extra fun things this summer. This isn't mindless positive thinking. It's telling ourselves a true story. And yes, we can teach our hearts to calm down when they want to get overwhelmed. This is good news and a skill I'm still working on. Join me.